Right then guys, so we've all done that, haven't we, where we've kind of got the tee shot away and we just really struggle to strike our irons correctly. We don't always understand why, but we maybe feel that we move around too much during the golf swing. Well, in this video, we're going to show you how to stop your sway. Right then guys, so we could see that shot there, just not well struck at all, and for any golfer who's moving around a lot in the backswing, we want to be able to eliminate that sway and really start crushing those shots from the floor. Right then guys, welcome down to Ali Taylor Golf. If this is your first time down, I hope you're enjoying the videos. If you're returning, welcome back, thank you for watching. If you don't currently subscribe though, click the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, then you'll find out when I drop any new video. But for now, let's get on with eliminating your sway. Right then guys, so as we've discussed in a lot of videos, the key to striking balls well when they're on the floor is to get the lowest point of your golf swing after the golf ball so that you get that ball and then ground contact. But one of the major issues I see with golfers is that in the backswing, they make a movement that's incredibly difficult to get them to get that low point after the golf ball, and it's called a sway in the backswing. So what is a sway? So from a decent setup position, what we notice with a lot of golfers is that as they swing the club away from the target, their upper body moves away from the golf ball, and we see that the hip, the trail hip, moves very laterally as opposed to turning in that backswing. Now, not only do we see that sway sometimes, but what we'll also see, which can be very negative, is that as the hip starts to move laterally, the upper body reverses towards the target. Not only are we going to be really struggling with contact, we're going to struggle with the path we swing the golf club, where the club face points, and really just going to hit a whole host of very poor golf shots. So in this video, what we're going to discuss is, first of all, is your sway a technical issue or is it a physical characteristic? And a real key part of your body to understand is how that lead hip turns in the backswing, and actually can it turn correctly. So the first thing I want you to do is let's see how good your right hip is at rotating. And if we're not maybe quite as good as we need to be, we're going to give you 3 little ways of possibly cheating that trail hip to stop your sway, and it's really going to help you improve your ball striking and hit a lot more good shots. So a real good way of testing that trail hip is we're going to stand on our hip up on that lead toe, and you're going to put the golf club just across your hips, and we want you to keep your foot flat on the floor, and you're going to turn as you would into the backswing. And what we're looking for is, as we turn, can we turn the hips 60 degrees with that foot flat on the floor? Now, for a lot of you out there, what you'll find is you'll get to a point that's very short, or very quickly that foot will start to roll. Now, if you're very short in your hip turn, or the foot rolls early, it means that your trail hip's very tight for internal rotation. And in the backswing, what we're looking for is that trail hip to be able to internally rotate. So if you're somebody that fails that little test, the first of the 3 little cheats we can give you to help the hip to turn better and to stop that sway is that we had the foot straight on for the test. So let's say you could only get maybe 30 degrees and we're looking for 60. One thing we could do is we could turn that trail foot out 30 degrees. So then as our hips start to turn, now we're back to straight and we've got 30 degrees. So that would give us more hip turn. So that will enable us from there to turn that foot out 30 degrees. And as we swing back now, the hip will turn. The upper body won't want to move as much across, or won't want to hang towards the target. So that first little cheat could be turn that lead foot out a little bit more. And if you are somebody that struggles with that, what that should straight away enable you to do is, as you turn, then on the way down you try to shift forward. It should move that low point after the golf ball. So that first cheat, set up square, turn that lead foot out a little bit more. And that straight away is going to get a better strike. Now, second little cheat that we could try if that trail hip is a little bit tight is just quite simply from there, all we're going to do is we're just going to pull the foot back a little bit. And that in itself is going to help you get that hip behind you a little bit more because it's starting behind. So that would be another way that if you're not as comfortable with turning that foot out, we can get into our address position, pull the left foot just back a little bit more, and then make your swing. Now, there's no right and wrong. Some of you will find the first way easier than the second. Some will find the second way easier than the first. But the third way, and probably the way I prefer guys to feel this, is to just kind of eliminate that trail hip altogether from the backswing. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up, and maybe with just a touch more pressure on our lead foot, and rather than allowing the weight to shift and then trying to turn but swaying, what we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit more left-sided, and we're actually just going to stay much more left-sided. So there, the hip doesn't need to turn as much. It's just an upper body turn anyway, and then from there we can still shift into that left side. And certainly with experience, I think a lot of golfers find that very, very easy. I think the big challenge if you struggle with that hip is that if you really transfer your weight a long way, particularly outside that foot, it's such a big distance to get back that it's incredibly hard to be consistent with that low point. So really, like I said, the third cheat is to get there, be a little bit more left-sided, stay left-sided in the backswing, and then drive into that left side. And that'll definitely move that low point forward. It'll really keep you feeling much more centered over the golf ball. So from there, it's a little bit more left-sided, stay left-sided. That feels really, really powerful. And like I said, you know, in my experience with coaching, I think you've got those three ways. That third way can feel incredibly good, particularly if you've got a little bit more loft in your hand. It's maybe not as easy if you've got kind of the fairway woods, because it tends, once we go a bit more left-sided, to make us a little bit steeper into the ball. Because that low point's a lot further forward, the angle that the club's attacking the ball's a bit steeper, so it de-lofts the clubs. But if you are somebody who feels that they really, really move around, and like I said, when you do that little test, that left hip isn't quite as mobile as it could be, those three little cheats we've got. First one, flare the foot open a little bit. That will give a little bit more range of motion to the hip. Second one is to pull that lead, that trail foot back, which again will give us a bit more room. Or the third one, stay left-sided and just completely eliminate that left hip in the backswing. But do the test, try the three little cheats, see which one works best for you. And then the one that does work best, get really, really good with that, eliminate that sway, and really start crushing your shots off the floor. Okay then, so like we said, if you are somebody that struggles with that trail hip, we want to use one of, if not all three of those cheats to help eliminate that sway, crush those shots by controlling the low point of your golf swing, making sure it's after the ball when the ball's on the floor. If you're somebody who's very, very mobile with that hip, I am going to do more videos on more of the technical stuff that you can work on for there, but really it's a case of learning how your body works and building a golf swing around what you can physically do. So guys, hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, like and share it, comment below, I'll get back to as many people as I can. If you've enjoyed today's video, click the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, you'll get my videos as soon as they drop. Follow me on all my social media platforms, all under Ali Taylor Golf. Hopefully catch up with some of you guys down here soon. Stay in contact.